We're here in Warwick, Rhode Island at Goddard State Park for the final weekend of the Victoria Northeast Cyclocross Series presented by Cliff Bar and CycleSmart, the NBX Grand Prix. NBX is famous for being a beach race. There's a long beach run. The dirt is very sandy. There's some wooded sections. Roots are a factor here. So what we'll be showing you in the course preview is basically a lot of sandy turns, trying not to crash. There's definitely speed limits. The run is real hard. The turns are set up not just by what the best line in the turn is, but what the best line is that won't put you into a pile of roots with a broken rim or a flat tire. Generally, it's a fast course with a lot of drafting, and the win or the final selection happens mostly from people making mistakes and taking themselves out of groups as opposed to people making attacks and dropping the riders behind them. All in all, it's a great way to finish up the year. We're going to have 50-degree weather this weekend, which is wonderful for December. So carousel building is a big favorite. We do the series awards at the end of the last race on Sunday, so definitely a party atmosphere, and I think everybody's looking forward to wrapping things up. Okay, we're here in the start section, fenced off. Traditional start they've used here the past couple years. You don't come through here during the race, so I'll let you know when we've entered the actual course. But it's not a straight ahead start section. It actually has some tricky turns, and there are often crashes in the start, not because of people doing crazy stuff, but because it's actually some of these early turns are technically difficult. So we'll get started here. Mike Owens is my co-pilot here, and you're following me or am I following you?
You're following me.
Yeah, that's what I thought. All right, let's go. The first big turn is an off-camber drop-off right-hand turn. Lots of roots already. Stays pretty wide, but there's usually some jostling for position there. Two more turns in the grass, and then you go into the woods. All of the wood sections are pretty littered with roots. And then here's where really your line choice is dictated in a large part by where the roots are, but the course is real wide. And then you enter the actual course here. So now we're on the loop. First pass of the pit. Couple new turns here from previous years. Used to just be straight ahead. Now I've got some lips and a hard turn back up the lip. That definitely will be tough at speed and in a crowd. Hard turn on sand, and here we're getting closer to the beach, so the dirt starts to turn to sand. Really easy to lose traction in these turns. Typically you lose your front wheel first. As the race goes on, it gets looser and looser rather than more packed in. And then here's the big drop off down to the infamous beach run. Little off-camber turn on the way in. Pop back up, and then a big drop off. We can run it. This is probably the longest run of the year for almost everyone. It's probably a full 80 meters, flat, on sand. The sand is deep, it's not easy to run in. Flight of stairs back up.
And when you think you're on the pavement and you can rest, it's just the opposite. You get onto the pavement and people who are strong sprint away, and it's where the gaps open up. I think after the beach run is where fitness really shows. Rudy off camber. Really awkward, challenging approach to a sandy ride up. That'll be a run for some categories. You're picking your lines through roots as much as the fastest way through the turn. Soft sand on the ride up. This will be fully opened up on race day, which you exit that up and down section onto the pavement. Across the road and up a loam, I guess you'd call it a loam climb. Some off-camber grass, back into the sand, and towards the second passage of the pit. This year, the turns in the sand are much tighter than they've been in the past. There is definitely a speed limit. They're not wide open and drifty, they're tight and drifty. Riders will get separated by mistakes as opposed to someone attacking. Second passage of the pit. That section will be fully opened on race day. You'll just go straight into this section. Here you've got a lot of choices. It's a wide track, but you've also got a lot of roots to deal with. Again, that'll be open on race day. We're in the last couple of corners here before the finish. And this is the last corner before the finish. Big sprint to the line. We're gonna go past the finish line and show you the first section of the loop that we didn't do because of the start section, and we'll stop there. So that's the end of the loop. We go through the start finish, but here's the section that we missed because we were on the start loop. After the finish line, a little grassy off camber, up and down. A little dog leg in the loam, across to a stair run. Tricky drop off. And then an equally tricky ride up. Lots of line choices. Again, setting up for turns based on where the roots are. We're headed back towards the start area by Club Row now. And here we rejoin where we entered the course from the start. And that's the loop. Thanks, Mike.